morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to the person in the bag on the table. All right, so first of all, thank you to those who showed up on time, ready to go, owning your business right here, making the choices we talked about yesterday. So I'm not the voice you get to hear today. You're welcome. You get to hear the one and only Mike Bailey. I'll let him introduce himself in a minute. However, I want to kick this off with just a little shout out. So yesterday we talked about building daily habits, a day in the life of, and fueling your career, right? Your big why. One of the homework assignments was for you to go home and between yesterday and today, so you might not have done it yet because you still had today to do it, is to not only write down your big why, but dig 5 layers deeper into it to really get what is the powerful thing that's going to wake you up on these rainy days where you're like, oh my God, I just want to lay in bed, right? And then make a visual behind that, whether it's on your phone, on your, I've seen people draw on their mirrors of their bathroom, whatever that, a vision board, whatever that looks like to you. So that was one of the homework assignments. The other one was prepping out your calendar. What should your calendar look like for you to be successful in real estate? Building that structure day to be successful, right? And to focus on what's most important. We also ended it with yesterday afternoon, you all received an email from Melissa. If you didn't, please see her after this or on break so she can make sure I get that for you. She's waving in the room. Melissa sent over a tracker. The tracker is for you to know your numbers because your numbers tell a story and help you be successful. At the very bottom of the tracker are tabs for your name, so you're going to find your name. If your name is not on there, you can either, if you know how to do it, you can add it yourself or reach out to Melissa and she'll do it for you. But if you attended yesterday, you have a name on that tracker to track your numbers. And I'm going to give a shout out right now, even though he's not in the room, but that's okay. He works a full-time job, so he did share that he wouldn't be able to come today. Jignesh, who sat in the back yesterday and had a lot of great nuggets, filled out the tracker. He added 2 people. Doesn't matter what your numbers are. You got in the habit of filling it out. Even if your numbers for that day are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, you know what? Put that in there. It's okay because now you're building that habit. He added 2 people to his database. He contacted 3 people. He set an appointment yesterday. I know, right? He set an appointment yesterday. And again, was it 5 people? Was it all these huge numbers? No. He's building a habit, right? And he's tracking his numbers to own his success. So if you've not gone into that email that Melissa sent you yesterday to look at your tab at the bottom with your name, please, before you leave today, before you end today, get in there, make sure you see it, make sure you know how to fill it out, because that is your success. And we are going to be looking at it and celebrating it every single Ignite session. And again, at the end of Ignite, we're going to be using it to give some prizes. You don't know what for, so Mike's like, oh, I want prizes. Like, do you want a tab? Do you want your name tab on the bottom to track your numbers?
So I can get a prize.
So you get a prize. All right, guys, I'm going to turn this over to the one and only Mike Bailey. Have an amazing day, and I can't wait to hear about your successes.
Yay!
Woo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're excited as I am. This is my jam. So, Alana, so thank you for the introduction. We're going to talk about lead generation today. And those of you who know me, you'll often see me wandering the office with one of those headsets on, oftentimes, because lead generation is the foundation of your business. So, one, give yourself a round of applause for showing up today. This is part 2, right? And that tells me that you're serious about your business, because your business needs to be built on a solid foundation, and this is one of those pillars. So I'll start by telling you a little bit about me and my journey, because I was once like you, sitting in the seats, brand new agent, got my real estate license, and oddly enough, I quickly realized that there's no formal job description of, for like a realtor. When you're working a 9 to 5, it's very clear. Right, this is what you do, this is what you get paid for. And we make it real easy because we like to be able to say like, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't get paid to do that, right? So when you get into real estate, it just seemed really foggy to me. And attending classes like this let me know that lead generation was one of the most important things I could actually do for my business, right? So I started out as dual career, like many of you. I got my license in 2014. I started out as an independent agent, and that really wasn't going so well for me. Just with trying to work and trying to figure out exactly what I needed to do, when I needed to do it. You know, that it just the dots just weren't connecting for me, right? So I decided that I'm going to explore joining a team. I joined an expansion team that actually was beneficial to me. Everyone has their own choice. That's the great thing about being a business owner when you get your real estate license, is that you can choose to be independent, you can choose to be a part of a team. Or you know, after you had some experience, you can build your own team. So I joined an expansion team. That certainly helped my learning curve, right? So I got to learn through the success of others, and I didn't need to make as many mistakes as I would have had I just been on my own. Because if you're like me, what was most important at that time, it wasn't really about the money, right? For me, at that time in my life, my biggest fear was not being able to satisfy my family and friends, or making like a really big mistake and costing somebody a lot of money. So that was like one of my own personal fears that I was overcoming. But so fast forward, spent some time with the team, branched out on my own, and then I built Baltimore Washington Home Solutions with my partner. So we service Baltimore City, Baltimore County, we service Prince George's County, Washington, D.C. I'm an investor myself. So we flip, we do buy and holds, we do short sales. So a lot can change, because the story here with Keller Williams is that, you know, you can be anywhere that you want to be within 5 years. And I took that very seriously. And I realized that, you know what, if you apply yourself and you commit yourself to everything that's being taught and absorb that, that can actually be true. So I would say, you know, about 6 years for me, but hey, I'll take it, right? So jumping into lead generation. So when you hear lead generation, you know, what are some of the first thoughts that come to mind when you hear lead generation? Possibilities. All right, I love that. All right, what else? What else comes to mind? I saw you whispering. What was that?
I don't necessarily like talking on the phone, so as soon as I hear lead generation, I'm thinking harassment.
No, that's good. That's good. I love that you share that, right? We want to be transparent here, right? Because we want to have these conversations, because these are the things that prevent us from doing what we need to do, right? So if you didn't hear that, the comment was, and here, I don't want to be on the phone, and I feel like harassment, right? And that's how a lot of people feel when they get into the business. It's like, I don't want to harass my friends and family, or we use other negative terms like begging and things like that. And that is just not true. That's something that you told yourself, and it's not true. And I'm going to address that in a second. What else do you hear?
If you don't harass them, then somebody will, other people will harass them. So better you harass them.
That's a great spin on that, right? If you don't harass them,
Yeah.
somebody else will.
Somebody's going to approach them.
To an extent, that is true, right?
Yeah.
Now we want to pull away from harassment, right? Because we don't want to feed our subconscious with negative words attached to lead generation. So did I miss anyone? Did I miss anyone? Okay. So one of the great things that I think that is important to address is that you went and got your real estate license because you care about people, right? right? You obviously care about your family and friends, right? You have goals that you set for yourself, for your family, and this is why you're here, right? Now, think about your family and friends. Think about the journey of either buying a home or selling a home. But if you're buying a home, it's likely that that's probably the most expensive purchase that most people are making in their life, right? Is buying a home. And or that may be the most money that they've had to save for a purchase in their entire life. And if they're selling, by golly, that may be the most money lump sum that they're receiving at one time, right? So if it's your family and your friends and knowing how much you care about them, right? Who better than you to service them, right? Because you care so much that I guarantee you that even if you don't have the answer at your fingertips, you're motivated to find it. You're motivated to find the people that can help with whatever problem that you come across and whatever obstacle that you come across. So no one else better than you should be helping your friends and family. That is called your sphere of influence, right? And to your point, if you're not servicing them, somebody else will. And can you guarantee that they're going to give the highest level of service that you would or care as much as you do? Right. So if you haven't been motivated to reach out to your family and friends, you want to think of it in a way as that they should be honored that you care enough about their future that you're reaching out to apply your talent and skills and help them either in the buying journey or the selling journey, right? Because you may very well be saving them from a catastrophe. And you'll find that that will happen in the course of your business career. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So lead generation. Another point is that it doesn't have to just be about phone calls. That's an element of it. It's an element of it, right? Because at some point in time, you're gonna have to have a two-way conversation. Now, technology has come a long way. So there's gonna be different ways in order to communicate and have those two-way conversations. So we'll get into that, all right? Let's see, let's go to the first slide. And
There you go. So
All
I
right.
switched that works.
so, okay, what successful agents do every day? Everybody here wants to be successful, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm like, oh, we're in the wrong world. Everybody doesn't want to be successful, right? This is like one of those, like, this is an expensive business to be in if you don't intend to do anything with it. I'm just want to be honest right here. So everyone here wants to be successful, right? So obviously, if you intend to be successful, we're not going to recreate the wheel, right? There are plenty of successful real estate professionals right here with this market center, right? And abroad, right? So rather than recreating the wheel, we're going to do what other successful agents do, right? So what successful agents do is they do two things. They grow their business and they run their business, right? Notice the differentiation, right? Because you need to continue to grow your business, and at the same time, you have to run it. There are day-to-day things that just have to get done. So when we're talking about growing our business, number one, oh my God, what do you see there? What does number one say? Anybody?
Lead generate. Oh my God.
Oh my God, right? Number one is lead generate for buyers and sellers. Number two, make seller listing presentations and get listings. Number three, make buyer presentations and get listings, right? So we use the term listings interchangeably. So it's a listing once you have a signed agreement, right? So I'm not saying that my mother, sister, brother, cousin, uncle said they're gonna sell a house with me. My brother, sister, uncle, daughter, sister, baby father is gonna buy a house with me 2 months from now. That's not a listing, right? We wanna make sure that we're having signed agreements, right? When you have a signed agreement, that means you have a client, right? That's your client, that they've agreed to either buy or sell with you, not just a verbal. 4, preview real estate. Now, what do you think previewing real estate is gonna help you do? Yes. So the answer was get familiar with the market, right? What else is that gonna help you do?
You can educate your clients and
Repeat that again?
you can educate your clients.
Educate your clients.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you know the things, if you don't know, then that's a problem. They ask you questions that you don't know.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when they ask you questions, and what that means is it makes you the market expert, right? So you're getting familiar with the neighborhood, it makes you the market expert. You sound intelligent because you're speaking about your craft. Now, running your business, we have market seller listings, show buyers houses, negotiate contracts, transaction management to closing, vendor management. You want to be setting goals for yourself. A big thing that you'll want to ask the coaching about is your 1-3-5, which is your yearly goals, right? Of how much money you want to make, because we all want to make money. How many houses we want to help sell, or how many homes we want to help buyers buy. So those are like some easy goals that people set for themselves. Compliance and risk management, attend training, and get coaching, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And managing money. Oh man, that's important. Because as an agent, a real estate professional running a business, you're an independent contractor. You get a 1099, and you want to make sure that you have an accountant, someone that you can talk with, because about tax advantages and about money that you need to put aside, because now you're responsible for paying your own taxes. So there's a lot of responsibility that comes along with that you want to keep in check. Now, any questions about the difference between growing your business and running your business?
See, the run business, your first point, market seller listing. So what do you mean by that? Can you explain in detail about that?
That is a great question, right? So that's part of running your business. Marketing seller listings is that let's just say an example, right? You have a good friend that are looking to sell their property, right? And that goes into advertising. How you go about letting the public know about this available home. And that is whether you're using social media, you're putting it into multiple listing service, you're reaching out to fellow agents that may service clients in that neighborhood. You're doing a plethora of things to make sure that this home is highlighted so that way you can ultimately get it sold for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time for your client. Answer that question? All right. Now, notice, you see, growing your business, that list is kind of short, right?
Yep.
In comparison to running your business. So it's easy to be all the way over here and run your business and not be growing your business, right? You don't want to be like me, starting out as a new agent. I mean, I was busy. right? I was tired, go home, wake up first thing in the morning, trying to get my website. Oh man, get my website together. Woo! Worked on my business cards, found out what home inspectors do, just rolling around, like printing out stuff. I don't know what I was printing, but, I was just like, getting everything set up, right? Getting ready to get started, and was not working on any type of lead generation. I was the busiest, not having a business person you've ever saw, right? So we want to make sure that we're hitting these 4 bullets, because that's going to be important. That's how you keep business. That's how you grow business. That's how you build a business. All right. So these are the skills that we're going to focus on today. Lead generating for buyers and sellers, make seller listing presentations and get listings, make buyer presentations and get listings, and previewing real estate. So we're gonna talk about that in depth. So the lead generation model. So this is just one of the models that Keller Williams talks about in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. We call that the Red Book, right? So when we're talking about the models, there are 4 models, and this is one of them. So when you think of the 4 models, just think elbow. So there's the economic model for E. There's the lead generation model, right? There's the budget model, and then there's the organization model. So that's certainly, you can reference those models in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And as you start to dig into that point that we're talking about, like marketing to sellers, when you look at the models, it'll talk about budgets and things like that, and setting up to make sure that you're successful in doing that.
Sorry, how many models did you say?
There's 4 models.
4. Okay.
So there's 4 models, again, when you're running a business, according to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the Red Book. So that's the lead generation model, it's the budget model, and the organization model. So let me see. We can. Let's see if we can. So when we're looking at the lead generation model, now understanding the lead generation model provides a larger vision of interconnected tasks and habits and how they help fund your big why. So I would imagine that each and every one of you has a big why, right? It's the purpose of why you're doing this, right? And this business is going to help you fund that purpose. So understanding this model is extremely important. So if we look at the top, now if you look at the side, you see 3 headers, rather. Can someone read those 3 headers on the side?
Sales pipeline, database, and lead generation.
Thank you so much. So we have sales pipeline, database, and lead generation from bottom to top. So if we look at lead generation and we look at number 1, so we say we have prospecting and marketing. All right. So this model is the life cycle of a lead, right? So this is a description of what that looks like and what happens, okay? So prospecting and marketing. Now, you will hear this being said over and over, under the assumption that you're gonna spend a good amount of time around agents here with Keller Williams, that our business is lead generation based and marketing enhanced, right? So what can be very tempting is to spend on marketing because we are trying to buy our way out of the activity of lead generation, right? And that's a very slippery slope because I'm sure you've gotten plenty of emails that will be like, do this, do this, do this, do this. Become a millionaire without doing any work. 1 hour a day just for you. Don't buy into that, right? Lead generation is purposeful and very specific, and it can be enhanced with your marketing efforts, right? So like the lead generation aspect would be talking to your family and friends and getting that listing. And then marketing, paying for advertising, doing open houses, those kinds of things, that enhances the activity that you've already performed, and that will attract other business to you because other people will reach out and say, hey, I love that house. I want a house just like that. And you'll be like, I think I did just the house for you, right? So you can help them. So you want to do things that attract. So we start at the top, prospecting and marketing. So we're meeting people face to face. We're having coffee. We're having dinner with our family and friends. We're doing trick or treating. We are doing open houses. We're prospecting, right? And or marketing. And then we capture a lead. So that's the top of the funnel. That lead is captured, right? And a lead is, we have their first name, last name, their phone number, their email address, right? In some way, shape, or form, they have expressed that they're looking to buy a home or sell a home, right? So we've captured that. Boom, got it. Not going anywhere. It's mine, right? So it's coming to my web, right? I caught it. Now I have it. Now, if you look here at number 2 and 3, you see that once it's captured, it goes in here as one of 2 things. It's either a lead or it's a contact, right? So it comes in as 1, goes to 2, and then goes to 3. So it comes in as, comes in as number 1, goes in as 2, and it slides over to 3. So what happens, right? How does it go from 1 to 3? So someone has clicked on your Facebook page, saw that you were a real estate agent. They reach out to you and say, hey, thinking about buying a house, right? So they're just a lead at that point, right? They've just spoken up and they've, said that, hey, I'm looking to buy a house, sell a house. You don't really know what the opportunity is. It's an opportunity. So a lead is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to have a conversation. So that's your opportunity, right? Now, once you communicated with that lead and you found out what their motivation is, whether they're specifically looking to buy, if they're specifically looking to sell, or both, and they're looking to do that within 30, 60, 90 days, and they're looking to be in that neighborhood, now they're a contact, right? Because now you can put them, because now they're in your database and you can classify them and put them on a specific touch program. And so we call dripping, touching programs, depending on, and you want to look into your database, which is your CRM called Command, and that's where you put them. So if you have them on people on sticky notes, in your cell phone, on scratch pieces of paper, maybe that was just me. They need to go into the database because in your phone is really just an electronic Rolodex, right? It is not active. It does not move. They just sit there and nothing happens. Putting them in your database is where they belong because you can put them on touch programs that will systematically tell you how to communicate with these contacts, whether to call them, whether to email them, whether to mail them a piece of literature and invite them to client events and other things like that. Does that make sense? Did you have a question?
No.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so everyone understand the difference between a lead and a contact?
Yes.
You understand how we go from 2 to 3? Okay, so Facebook, they reached out, and looking to do something, boom, they're a lead, you're like, oh, boom, money in my inbox. That's when you get excited, that's my happy dance, right? So now you have somebody to talk to. You talk to them, you find out that, hey, they want to buy a home in the next 30 days, they haven't got pre-approved, but they want to own a home before the end of the year, and you connect with them, you put them in your database, you put them on the right touch program because they're looking to buy soon, and now you have contact. Now you're going into cultivate, right? So that's that interactive and action-based touch programs. So that's when you're actually putting them. So now that you know now that you've engaged them and gotten any missing information, now you know exactly what to do with them. So now when you put them in your database, it says nurtured, qualified. You can classify them as such. Did I lose anybody from going 3 to 4? All right. Okay. So 5, now we're having an appointment. Now notice, that initial quick conversation, that wasn't the appointment, right? Because what happens, what I see a lot of times is that somebody says, hey, I'm looking to buy a house, and then you're off to the races. You're out showing them houses. Now you're showing them a million houses. You have really no idea what they're looking for. You're stressed out, they're stressed out, you're busy. It's all outdoors, and you just can't figure out what's happening, right? So that quick conversation is in putting them in your database and classifying them based on the proper category. That just gets you to the appointment where now it's like, okay, now I'm going to set either my buyer consultation or your seller consultation at a specific time on a specific day to go through what it takes to either buy a home or sell a home. And that's important because this is your opportunity to show your value, right? This is when you get to showcase who you are and what you're able to deliver to them. It's hard to do, in a couple text messages over Facebook or Instagram, or, a quick, hey, hello, I'm looking to do something. You want to be able to cast that vision. They go into active, you set the appointment, you've done everything that needs to be done to get them on the road to either buying or selling. Now they're active, so they're either an active buyer or active seller. We move over to under contract, so that means either as a seller, you've accepted an offer, or if they're a buyer, you've gotten them under contract, and then you close, right? So even after closing, what do you see? So you see the arrows. After 8, what do you see? Where do you see the arrow going?
Contacts, connecting.
Boom, it goes right back up. So even after the business is at hand, is complete, they go back, right? Because now, what do you get the chance to do? So now if you put them back up here as contacts, right, they go back, boom, transaction closed, you help them buy a house or sell a house, you make that notation, it goes back up in contact. What do you get to now do?
Start to nurture that relationship.
It's nurture, you start over, right? Because now, what do you have? You have a satisfied customer, right? That is gold because our business is built on referrals, right? This allows us to, because we got to do offense and defense. This is the time where I get to act like I watch football, right? We got to be playing an offensive and defensive game, right? We need to be growing our business, and we need to be maintaining the business in the satisfied customers that we've already serviced. Because a satisfied customer who is happy with your service, what usually happens when somebody is ecstatic about the level of service and treatment they got?
They refer other people to you.
For other people. Tell people. Thank you. Yes, you're all right. They refer other people. And how much easier is it to work with a client that someone has referred, that a referral that has come from a satisfied customer versus going out and trying to convert a stranger? What do you think the level of difficulty is?
Very easy, like.
Huge.
Like, it's different, yeah.
Right. Now you can show up like, I know you heard about it. I helped Sharon buy a house. You know how it went. I don't have to say too much. You know, right? It went fantastic. So I'm here to help you, right? So we want to make sure that we're nurturing those relationships, because if we don't, then that gives somebody else the opportunity. When somebody's at work, at church, at school, at the mosque, and says that, hey, they're looking to do business, they're like, oh man, I did have a good experience, but I can't remember his name. I can't remember her name, right? Because you haven't kept in contact with them, right? So we went over this model. Any questions about the model?
Shouldn't there also be a 9 after the 8 that says we get paid?
Oh, right. I was like, maybe. I think 8 is a good amount of stuff. Like 9 would get paid. So, but that's a good question, right? So close is synonymous with settlement, right? That is the place where you get paid, right? Because sometimes people are like, well, where does that part happen, right? So when you close, that is settlement. That's when everyone is excited. You take Facebook pictures and you post them, and you give a client appreciation gift, and you get paid, right? If you did it right. If you did it right. Okay. So prospecting and marketing. So let's see. Just make sure I have my place here. So lead generation is the life of an agent's business. You're gonna hear me say that over and over again, because it's so easy to do and so easy not to do, right? If nothing else got done today, if nothing else, if the whole 24 hours just got blown, what do you think is the most important thing that you should have done? Is it investigating the least expensive place to get our business cards? Anybody vote for that? No, okay. What about, this is a tricky one. What about finding out exactly how to specifically hook my laptop up to the printer? Is it, if a whole day went by and I got that done, was I successful? Nope. No. Really? The printer? Come on, man. I need that. The documents. Oh, that's not it? What about if I made a few calls and I set an appointment? Was that a successful day?
Yes.
Absolutely. Because if you have the prettiest website, you have the best, fanciest business card in the world, if you have all these things, and all those things are great. And I'm not saying don't do those things, because it's your brand and it's important. What I am saying is that comes secondary. Your primary activities, your go hard hours need to be spent on building relationships, and that's what we call lead generation, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing that, if nothing else. Now, the first part of lead generation model is the prospecting and marketing. So we know that. So now, how do you think agents that perform at a high level successfully use lead generation? How do you think that agents performing at a high level use lead generation?
What do you mean use it?
Well, how do they leverage it to support their big goals? Because you're doing this, you have a big why,
They spend most of their time.
absolutely. So they spend most of their time lead generating. So if you're curious as to where you should be spending your time, and you're thinking like, okay, what should I be doing? Because we have those brain fart moments, right? Where we're just like kind of moseying along. It's like, let me get another drink of water, let me make another cup of coffee. You know, a family member gives you a call and they just want to talk for 2 hours about everything that has happened to you since 2018. And the majority of your time should be spent as a real estate professional, because we all want to build a big business, should be spent lead generating. Because a lot of the other things that you'll find as you do more investigation, you'll be able to hire out, right? A lot of the other tasks that you'll either be able to find other independent contractors to do, or you can hire out, you know, where you bring someone on, depending on, you know, what you're looking to do. So I don't want you at a listing during 9 to 11, which is KW culture, Keller Williams culture, to lead generate. I don't want you out at a property trying to figure out how to take the best photos of the house that you're gonna list, right? Unless you're a photographer. Now, unless you're a photographer, that's not your lane. Pay somebody to do that, find another professional to do that, because that's what they do. So that way you can spend your time finding the next piece of business. Make sense? Okay. So be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Again, I'm going to drill this home. Prospecting based, marketing enhanced. What comes to mind when you hear that?
Order.
In order.
Order of things.
Order of things. Good. What else?
Marketing is the icing on the cake.
Yes.
You have, I mean, maybe this probably goes to order, but like, I don't know, you have to, there are a lot of cakes that don't have icing, not that you can't eat icing by itself, because or there's you can, but like, most of the time icing's gonna go on a cake, right? But there are cakes without icing, so you have to have the prospecting piece first, and the marketing just kind of pushes you over the edge. But if you have marketing without prospecting,
Exactly. Exactly. Because now if we look at, let's look at the triangle here. We have marketing, and we look at the tip of the triangle, right? That's a smaller piece. We look at that, we see that marketing is money intensive, it's passive, and there's long-term results. So they go hand in hand. Where you see prospecting, it's time intensive. When we talk about where you're spending the majority of your time, it's proactive, because we want to be proactive rather than reactive. And we want immediate results. So let's dig into prospecting a little bit. Why might prospecting be a proactive activity?
When you say prospecting, you mean like making calls?
No.
Okay.
That's it, right?
Oh.
So look, so that's part of it. Good, great answer. So part of it is calls, and I want to come away from just the calls because we touched on that earlier. Prospecting simply means how you're going to go about getting leads, right? How you're going about to getting leads, right? Because they all start out as just leads. It's just an opportunity, right? Some opportunities are better than others, right? Some opportunities you'll end up referring them out because that's just not in your wheelhouse, right? It's really, how do I go about finding opportunities? where people are looking to either buy property or sell
No,
property.
I got it. Don't, I don't want you over there by that lawnmower. I gotta put that lawnmower away. Come from over there.
I hear somebody say they got it. I need you to mute yourself, please. So we got it over here too. Now, when you think about that, because I wanna expand your mind, right? Because I don't want you to get caught up in like, oh, I hate calls. I don't want to be on the phone. So then you do nothing, right? What comes to mind when you think of where would I or how would I go about? Well, let me do it the Keller Williams. Let's start with the who, right? Who can I contact that would do that where I can, who can I contact that is willing to buy a home or sell a home, right? So let's think about the who's, right? Because when you think about the who's, you'll figure out the where, right? So who might you contact when you're thinking about, if you're looking for people that are looking to buy property or sell property?
People who are getting divorced.
People who are getting divorced,
People are starting families.
people who are starting a family. And I got a 9-month-old, so whew, kudos. What else?
Someone who wants their own space and doesn't want to rent anymore.
Someone who wants their own space and does not want to rent. Don't we know these people? Don't we know lots of these people?
Yeah.
All right. Who else? Who else might be looking to buy property or sell property?
People who want to invest.
People who want to invest, right? Okay, so now we got some who's, right? We got people that are starting a family. We have people who are looking to invest. We're talking about people who may be looking to get a divorce. You know, unfortunately, maybe, I don't know, right? So we know the who's. So okay, great. So we know some who's. Where might we go to find those people?
From our sphere.
Say what?
From our sphere.
The sphere? Oh my God. Where is it hiding? Is it over? Is my sphere over here? Is it like an orb?
Contact
somewhere?
list.
So my contact list, people that I know, right? Where else might, so these people that I know, where might I find them? Where might I find these people that I know? Like, where do they live? Where do they hang out at?
At parties.
Parties. Where else do these people go?
Facebook.
They go to Facebook, right? Oh, so I can find them there. How many people do you think I can find in this Facebook?
Tons.
Tons? Oh my God. Where else might we find these people? What did you say? Everywhere that people were. Everywhere that people go. Oh my God, this is where we're finding. I'm so happy. Yes. So everywhere that people are opportunities to have two-way conversations with people that might be thinking about buying a home or selling a home. So we have to, because what happens, right, we fall into the trap. Fall into the trap because Tuesday, what's today? Wednesday? Thursday comes, wake up, I don't know who to call. I don't have nobody. I don't have nobody to talk to, right? Right there in the middle of a group of people at a baby shower. See what I did there? Right? At a baby shower, and I don't have nobody to talk to. Right? I'm just all by my lonesome. Right? So there's always people to talk to. Because when we're, and I want to spend a little bit of time here because I feel like this is where, especially our new people get stuck, right? Now, what usually happens when you meet somebody that, you know, you haven't met with in a long time, or that, you know, that you haven't met at all, right? So how does that conversation usually go? What are some of the elements of that conversation?
You can talk about something that you have, or something that you show.
Right, you talk about something from the past, something that connects you, something that you have mutual in common. And what are some like basic things that people ask when you're in the midst of that conversation? How's work?
Family.
How's family?
Now it's COVID, so everybody.
Everybody's talking about COVID, the news, sports, like these are all opportunities to have a two-way conversation. I love it when somebody says, how's work? Oh, that is not, I'm about to do it. I'm about to slide it in. You know what? Man, I'm glad you asked. Right? Things are actually going really well. Do you know what's happening out here in the market right now? Man, it's crazy. Houses just flying off the shelf. Then you say you were looking to get on. I've been making people a lot of money. Even if you're a new agent, it's like, man, you know, I'm having conversations with, I'm just so excited, I got my business started, and you know, I'm just around these talented people, and I'm just ready to bust loose. Have you thought about buying a home, selling a home? That's the conversation, right? I know when we were talking, you said you're tired of having the neighbors tell you to quiet down because your daughter is running across the floor, right? Isn't it about time? Let's set up an appointment. Let's have that conversation, right? So we want to get out of that. So the marketing, so we tie that in with the marketing, right? We take that buyer that's tired of renting and looking to get into something of their own. Boom. They give a testimonial. With that one person I'm working with, right? They give a testimonial. We take a picture. We go on Facebook. We go on Instagram. She tells me her story about how she's so grateful that I came along, you came along, helped them through their journey, got them a house. What is that gonna do? It's gonna bring you more business, right? So that's like the marketing piece, right? So that's like the passive thing. What I see people do is, especially when they're trying to figure things out, they're like, all right, I'm gonna do this Facebook thing, I'm gonna do this marketing thing. They throw up something on Facebook that says, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, give me a call. How many times, how successful does that usually happen? It doesn't, right? Because we're not doing the prospecting piece, right? The prospecting and the piece and the marketing go hand in hand. You can't do one without the other. So I know I spent a little bit of time here, but I really, really, really want you all to really get that there is no avoiding the lead generation. We have to be proactive. Now the database. Woo! Man, thank God for people like that. So the database that you have is Command. Now I'm not gonna touch on Command because there are additional trainings. You want to reach out to leadership to find out when those trainings are, right? Because I want you to get right information. Don't ask me, right? Because I still mess it up. I am fortunate enough to have people around me that fix my mess ups, and they tell me, Mike, don't touch the database. Don't touch it. Stop touching, right? Because I mess it all up. But the important thing is to know that this is where your people live, right? If you're not putting them in your database, you're not taking the necessary step of building the business. They need to go in the business, in the database. Why? Because you only have but so much brain space. You think you know everybody, and you think you're gonna keep up with everybody, and you're just not, right?
That's true.
You know, how many people, let's look, how many people do you think you have in your cell phone? Somebody pull out their cell phone and just kind of like look at how many contacts they have in that cell phone. Look at somebody, pull out their cell phone, tell me how many contacts they got.
How do you?
I'm
498.
498, okay, I heard 498, we're gonna do 498, we're gonna 500. 600 over here, 700, 756, 1056, we got 1056 over here, 1057, 1057 going what? 1057 going twice. So, right, so we have 1,057 people. How many of those folks do you think you spoken with in the last 30 days?
10.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that somebody in that other 900 contacts that's in your phone maybe have bought a property, sold a property?
Yeah.
Maybe, right?
Yep.
So they obviously were important enough for you to put them in your phone. Right, because you whipped it out. Let me get your number. Right? Did this, went to the app, put their name in there, put their phone number in there. You did all that, right? So they were important enough for you to do that. And then you forgot who they were. Right? The database helps remind you of who these people are. You can take notes, the conversation that you've had, when you met them, what you talked about. You can put the color shirt, or what they smell like in the notes if that's what's going to help you. So these are the important things that you want to put in your database, because the database is a lot better at remembering things than you will be. Make sense? And as the years go on and you meet more and more people, you want to make sure that you're keeping better track of those folks, because these are the people that are going to be sending you referrals. These are the people that you will invite to client appreciation events. These are the people that you will be wanting to monitor, because you'll want to be involved in their lives and see what they're doing and what may be that best thing, right? So that's database. So this reiterates the explanation of what a lead is and the difference between a lead and a contact. So a lead, you have valid contact information and can have a one-way conversation when you are seeking permission. So that's, again, like the example I gave earlier. Someone hits you up on Facebook, says that they're looking to do something. You're having a two-way conversation. That's how they move from 2 to 3. They have a two-way conversation. Now you have permission, like, hey, you know, now that we've spoken and I understand what your motivation is being why you are deciding to either buy or sell. You know, now you're a contact, and do I have permission to, you know, send you information and things like that? Because we don't like when people just start adding us to lists and sending us stuff, and we didn't ask for that, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing that. So the contact is that you have valid contact information and have received permission to have a two-way conversation. There's your differentiation spelled out right there for you. Any questions about those two differences between the leads and your contact? So again, easiest, remember, this lead is just an opportunity, right? Sometimes that lead will just be a name and a phone number. It might be a first name. Hey, Aaron, my friend Kim looking to buy a house, here's her number. It's a lead, right? Now, when you having a conversation with them, obviously you're gonna get last name, motivation, who else they intend to, like what their objective is, and when they expect to have that goal attained, right? So 19 to connect. So this is talking about what your database does. So this is the systematic way in which you're communicating with your contacts. Does that make sense? So at the top, so let's look at the leads, right? So there's a difference between the leads and the contacts and how you're communicating with them. So for leads, you have 19 to connect and then 36 to convert, right? So when you hear 19 to connect and 36 to convert for contact, what are you thinking about? What's running through your mind?
It's all about numbers.
It's all about numbers.
The more numbers you accumulate, the more success you'll have on the backside.
Okay, so repeat that again.
The more numbers that you accumulate in your contacts and your leads, the more success you'll have on the backside.
Okay, so the more contacts that we have, right? So this is, like you said, this is all about the numbers, right? So the more contacts we have, the higher our probability of success on the back end. Okay, great. We're all clear on that? I think I saw your hand. What's your name, young lady? Dawn?
Well, for me, when you say 19 to connect, I would think that you need to reach that out to them now to try to get to the video contact. And when you say 36 to you convert, and now you want to convert them to your actual client.
No, you're right on the right path, right? So here's the short answer for that. When they don't pick up the first time, that does not mean it's a bad lead, right? Because that's what happens, right? I ain't answer. I don't want to call them again. They don't like me. You know, we start going all internal, right? Getting almost, man, they sounded so excited, but now they won't pick up the phone. Right? Maybe I said something wrong. Maybe, what happened, right? No, right? When we're talking about 19 connect, because that lead may come in and there may be 4 touches, 4 touches quarterly by phone call, right? 12 touches monthly, email, newsletter, market report, video, 2 touches promotional, direct mail, such as a magnet, calendar, market report, etc., what's happening in the neighborhood, and 1 touch annual event, party, movie, screening, and a get together. You may in fact go through all of these touches, because how many of us get emails or texts from some service where we don't reply, but we saw it?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You saw it. You just, your life is going on, you're busy, you don't feel like, you're like, right, It's like, when I'm ready, I'll get to you. So you want to stay top of mind. And what your database has a tendency to do is track when the literature that you're sending is being opened, right? So you can see like, every time I send a letter, they're opening it. So I have their attention. They're reading the information that I'm seeing. They may just not have raised their hand just yet. So now, after my 19 touches, they may go ahead and raise their hand and say, hey, I've been following you on Instagram. I've been watching your stuff on Facebook. I've seen the success that you've had. I'm thinking about selling my house. Right? So do not get discouraged about, and don't start thinking things like the bad lead stuff, right? Behind the lead, there are people. These are people, humans, just like you and me. If I called you every day and said, hey, Don, you need some tires? Hey, Don, you need some new tires? You're like, no, I don't need no tires. Man, call you 3 months. At some point in time, you're gonna need some tires, right? And at some point, it's either gonna be, you're either gonna get them from me, right? Because I've shared that value. And I've gotten your attention and you like what I have to offer, or you're gonna go somewhere else, right? Now, how many of us have had that experience where you're like, dang it, where's that tire guy? Right, that keeps calling me. But one time I need him or her, they're nowhere to be found. So it is professional of us to stay in touch with our contacts. So we are acting in our profession. Our job is to stay in touch with them. It's not their job to stay in touch with us.
Yes, 100%.
So on the reverse, it is unprofessional. It is unprofessional for us to get a lead and just, call them one time, 2 times, right? Until they unsubscribe or just tell you flat out, I'm not interested. You continue to communicate.
I share you one of my example. I'm a financial advisor also because I do life insurance and annuities. There was one client met me in the health camp in Silver Spring in the temple. Okay, so I was keep following up every month. What happened? Do you need the insurance? Do you need? So after 1 year, he bought the insurance and he gave me like 5 referrals. But if I don't follow up with him, then I might lose that day. But then I get more 5 sets because of him. Because I'm continuously following up every month. Are you ready? Are you ready? See, that's the lead I got it from the health camp. I write it down his name, number, and the email address, and I keep following up.
Absolutely.
So yeah, sometimes it takes time, but you will get the rewards also.
Absolutely. Many times we'll find that it's the business that we're transacting with today are not relationships that we communicated with or built yesterday. These are people that we may have met a month ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Somebody you went to elementary school reaches out to you, and boom, that's your business because you were prospecting and marketing, and they said, you know what? I'm gonna keep that in mind, and I think I'll need to connect with you, right? So we just want to keep drilling that home, and what our database allows us to do, it allows us to have the content that we need and gives us direction on how to, spark that conversation, because nobody after a while it's like, hey, somebody looking to buy a house, sell a house. Hey, looking to buy somebody, somebody. Hey man, somebody looking to buy a house. Like after a while, it starts to get a little redundant and a little stale. So when you mix it up with some, hey, do you know what's happening in your neighborhood? Hey, we have this event. Thanksgiving is coming up. Come pick up a pie. Like we're doing some contribution. We're letting them know about the marketing. And guess what? Lead generation is not all about just simply saying, do you know somebody looking to buy a house, sell a house, right? So there is other opportunity because we're in the relationship business. We're in the relationship business. We're building relationships. So we're having conversation. All of the touches that you do are not going to be about calling them just to say, hey, do you know somebody looking to buy a house, sell a house? Hey, how's your son? Saw you just graduated. Wow, you must be ecstatic. How's that going? How do you feel? Talk. And what usually happens when you're asking someone questions about them, what usually happens in that conversation? Eventually, what happens?
They might ask for a question also.
What? They eventually ask you, right?
Because then you're talking to the humans, not the machine, right? So it's emotions, bond, feelings.
Exactly. Eventually, they're gonna ask what's up with you. You know what? I'm glad you asked that. By the way, I just remembered. We're doing a trunk or treat event with my nonprofit organization, or we're having this Christmas play at my church. We're doing this at my job. It's Thanksgiving. We're giving food out to the homeless. Do you want to come? Do you want to support? Do you want to do that? Right? These are all things that go into that conversation. So when you're thinking about prospecting, let's make sure that we're doing that. So we're gonna go past some of the database stuff. Melissa.
Yeah, do you want to take a quick break just to give people a second to like go to the bathroom, walk around for a second?
All right, what time do we have?
It's 10:15-ish.
10:15-ish. Do we need 1 to 5 minutes? Is 5 minutes good enough?
Yeah.
Everyone good with a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have to go outside?
No, people that to the other side while we are.
Yes, ma'am. I can do that. So, all right, 5-minute break. Be back at 10:20. then we're gonna get into the good part. If it ain't been good already.
It has. It has. I was just like, I know, I need to stand up for a second.
All right. Good call, because I keep going.
Yeah.
So I need you, people like you. Let me go back to the slide. All right, which, this one?
No.
This one? Yeah. Okay. This little doohickey? Did we have some questions in the chat?
No, that's all me.
Okay,
I'm telling people things. I'm like, remember that
Okay.
essay contact light app and remember this and here's the training calendar.
Melissa, did you
Yes.
send out the chart that was supposed to have?
Yeah, I sent it out yesterday. Did you get it? Oh, what's your email? Let me make sure I have it. Is it, well, you have it right here, right? Realtor Lauren, or Lauren A. @gmail.com, right?
Yeah.
Let me make sure I have your email.
You don't have to do it right now, do you? First time.
No, I mean, it's okay. Yeah, I'll do it when we come back, actually.
Great.
But this is start next week. Did anybody else not get it yesterday?
Email, follow up for the class.
Yeah.
I think it's yesterday. I'll send it again today.
Yeah, this morning I sent the Zoom link too again. Okay. Perfect. Do you all remember the bathrooms too? I wasn't sure if you all, I know some of you have been there before.
Is a lot of this stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me double check. She's doing them right now, probably. Yep, she should be available when I go out. No, you're good. Well, check in now.
What's up?
How are you?
All tanned up. Travis. How's things going? Did you get in contact with them? Yeah. She's still with the coalition.
No, she's not. But, you know, I'm not touching her.
Four touches.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna get my lead. Qualified. I think it's my qualified home water. I mean, getting them qualified is the hardest thing. And after that. So they qualify. Right, the whole thing is, so they got to qualify. Not all the way to edge. Bel Air, and it's still not, and those houses aren't, so.
Yes.
right.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
So what you see on home?
You get your real estate license?
Yes.
All right. Michael, what's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan. Nice to meet you, Jordan. Congratulations.
So much.
Yes, that's all that counts. You're in the game.
There we go.
It was trash. I'm like, why?
This is, what were you doing prior to?
And then another place
I
didn't
was
think
a
so.
was a pot of land.
Okay.
But a house that you
multitasking.
Yeah.
That
was in school too.
Hey, look, you can go to school, raise a child.
Oh, I'm doing it right now.
You can do this.
It's really not that hard to learn.
You're gonna take all those skills and apply it. Look,
Oh, they don't want
truth
you
of
to.
it is, between agents and customers, we all show.
Yeah.
We're like a bunch of 7-year-olds. So you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Trust me. Which one was school
I'm business.
for? Okay.
It was sports medicine at work. Then I
Where you going?
Norfolk State.
Norfolk?
Yep.
Online?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was first, I used to be there, but once COVID hit, it was just, so much shit.
okay.
Then I had a baby, so.
Yeah.
All right.
You said you had a 9-month whatever, 4-5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday.
COVID baby.
Cold babies unite, You're gonna take over the world. It's like, man, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it. I was like,
They're just too advanced.
man, I was like, I can't go nowhere. I was like, ah, I'm gonna get got. That's good. Baby girl?
Yeah. Where you at?
My daughter. Kids.
Alana.
Yeah.
It might just be, it's a doing business.
You never know.
20 years from now, they be doing a transaction together.
Yep.
Everybody want it. You said 10 was right?
Yeah. 67.
No, you started
Right,
out.
sit at home and
Nothing. It's almost a year, right?
67.
Came a long way.
Yeah. Good. That's really good.
Like to see you in the building?
Yes.
Mr. Don,
Oh, yeah.
missing Sharon.
Good, come back.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
All right. So, want you to turn to page 5 in your booklet for this class.
Inspired, but like, which chapters?
In the third,
So in your workbook?
Third chapter.
third chapter.
Spark 3,
Okay,
Oh, third chapter?
well, Spark 2.
Spark 2.
Oh,
Yep,
two.
Spark 2.
Two.
Yep, so it should be page 5. Spark 2. Everyone there? Okay, so we have a few questions.
Yeah, why, that's the one. First
Yeah.
question is why is lead generation important?
Yes, why is lead generation important?
Like line up for business.
Yeah.
Simple enough, right?
Yeah, you have been a business, you need clients, so that's why lead generation is important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you understand how important lead generation is, you will realize that every business, every single business that you ever been, that you know is in the lead generation business. Every business.
Like, because I'm sharing you the code, like our insurance industry is when you join any company, they give you a business of like 400 clients or 500 clients, existing clients. So you call them and if they want to change the beneficiary or need more insurance, you approach them, you collect the payment from them. So do we have any setup platform we can get the leads from the company or anything? I'm just.
So can we get leads from companies?
Yeah, from Keller Williams, so like, is there any other resources you can get the lead, you pay for the lead or something?
So the leads that you would get, they don't necessarily come from like a source of like Keller Williams.
Okay.
You will find that these people will pay for paid lead sources outside outside
outside.
of Keller Williams.
Like, I'm just, whatever your, like, contacts, your family, friends, relatives,
Yes.
whatever your business client, it's different, but like from Keller Williams, do you provide any leads, like?
So no,
No, okay.
so I'm gonna say yes and no, right? Because it's all in how you look at things. Because lots of business is circulated internally.
Right.
So it's not to say that leads wouldn't come from Keller Williams. Maybe not in the form of, you know, like your Zillow, or your Trulia type of like, you know, they hit my account every month and they send me, 10 names and numbers, right? But you can certainly create within this company, you can create a huge lead incoming receiving business because there are agents, but one company is so huge.
Right.
And there are agents all over the country
Right.
and globally, right? So who's to say that you couldn't be the expert here in your market where you're reaching out to those agents, where part of your lead generation is reaching out to out-of-state agents and sharing why they should choose you for any of their Maryland buyers or sellers. There are agents that create a big business from that alone. Because we're in the referral business. And that's why I want to make sure that we're thinking big when we're talking about prospecting. And we think about the who's first. Who might have people that are looking to buy and sell? Who better than agents?
Right.
Right? We're the ones, we probably communicate with more people than anybody than on a weekly, daily basis, consistently, time over time. So we're meeting dozens and dozens and dozens, hundreds of people on a year, having so many conversations that it's likely that I'm gonna meet somebody that needs to go to Missouri or is looking to move from here to Florida.
So, yesterday after the class we had, I was really inspired. I stayed up till midnight doing homework.
You said till midnight?
I've never done
That's
this before.
amazing.
So I put a lot of postings on Nextdoor. So I put a posting, one of my things to do was last night was to just put a new posting, and I put a new posting. Anyone is moving to any states, I work with Keller Williams and I have partners all through the country. If anyone is moving, let me know. This morning I got a text that says, this is really weird because I just logged into Keller Williams last night trying to find someone in Georgia. And so she gave me her number. We're supposed to talk later this afternoon. In the meantime, I'm going to learn how to go into command and actually find somebody in,
So you put it on Facebook
on Nextdoor.
or next?
I use Nextdoor, I use Facebook, I use a lot of
My
stuff.
wife is in the next door neighbor association, so I have to put it there to see like, it's a
So,
good idea.
yeah. And
I'm
so
stupid, like,
I got a lead.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna work it, I'm gonna interview, a couple of people and make sure I send them to somebody good, because obviously they have family here,
Right,
you
right.
know what I mean? So, but they'll work it and I'll get a percentage.
Absolutely, right?
What did you just say, like, can you repeat that?
I'll tell you
Yeah,
after
please
class.
do.
Yeah, I don't wanna
All right,
take too
one
much
second.
time.
Melissa.
So I will send you all after this as well an email that has a link to a video that shows you how to do agent-to-agent referrals within KW.
Wow.
So it's from kwconnect.com, so that'll show you all.
Thank you,
I put it in the chat for people at home right now too.
thank you.
And is there any form we have to fill it out?
I honestly, I haven't watched the video yet, but I'm sure that the video will show you and then,
So it's a
your
proper
questions.
handoff.
Yeah.
So that we'll cover
Yeah,
that.
because, when you.
So we're looking at why is lead generation important? We know why lead generation is important. So lead generation, the act of prospecting, finding people who are it's an opportunity, right? We're looking for opportunities. So your example of going into Nextdoor, you were looking for an opportunity, and guess what? One showed up. So it works. We just need to do it consistently.
We just put the efforts, that's it.
Now, what is the goal of lead generation? So we're on page 5 in your book of Spark 2. What is the goal of lead generation? Create business. Okay? With no leads, nothing else happens. So you have a shiny business with no income coming in. These are our customers, these are our clients. This is how we service. So we know why lead generation is important. We know what the goal of lead generation is. And how do you think lead generation looks like for successful agents?
Done consistently, regular basis, time block.
Time block. Tell me about time blocking. What does that mean? I've never heard of that.
So time blocking is just you have a certain time period in your calendar on a daily basis to do lead gen. And if you don't get to that, you switch your time block around and make sure you at least dedicate
Absolutely.
that time.
So you said 9 to 11, right?
So Keller Williams culture is 9 to 11, right? Now, that is not the end all be all, because we have different schedules. Some of us are dual career, some of us are working during that time. Now, some of us have jobs where that's frowned upon. We're not able to solicit things like that. So I know that certain jobs will not allow you to do certain things. Now, if you can fit that in at your workplace, then great, go ahead. Don't tell your boss I said that. And if that is not conducive to your schedule, to your life right now, you need to figure out what that alternative time is. It may be 4 to 7, it may be 12 to 2. It should be consistent, because you're using the tracker that Alana gave you. What you're looking to do is keep track of what's happening. Because if you're consistent, it starts to tell a story. You start to see, like, okay, if I make my contacts each day, and by contacts I mean that I'm communicating with people, I'm prospecting my activity, I block it for whatever time, 12 to 2, 9 to 11. If I can't do 9 to 11, I block that, and I'm keeping track of it, and I start to see, like, okay, over time, when I have this many conversations, I set this many appointments. And when I set this many appointments, I get this many people under agreement that agree to do business with me. Those are my listings. And when I get this many listings, this many of them go under contract. And when these numbers go under contract, this many close. Because when I can track that and I see, like, oh, all of this equals 2 closed, and this equals X amount of dollars in income, then when I want to double that, or if I want to triple that, I go over here and I know that, okay, I need to put this many hours in. I need to have this many conversations, because it should yield me this many appointments, this many agreements, and so forth and so on. So you want to make sure that you're keeping track of those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you think? So we talked about how do you prefer to work with people? How do you think that affects your lead generation efforts? This is important. This goes back into thinking beyond just making phone calls. So how do you prefer to work with people? And I'm gonna give you a hint. You can cheat a little bit and look at page 6.
Is it saying, like, how do you, what form of lead generation you prefer? Is that kind of
Yes.
another way of phrasing that?
Yes.
Okay.
If I load the phone and I approach the phone like this, how effective do you think my lead generation is going to be? 0. Now, we can't have that attitude toward everything. I mean, that's just not going to work. And if there's something else that you love to do when engaging people, and you're just like the Facebook phenom, you are the Instagram person, and you just love that area, you can find your who's there. If you're just that always out in the community, volunteering, best helping person there, love the ASPCA, whatever that is, you can use that as your way of communicating with people. Does that make sense?
Oh, no.
Okay, so who has an example of a way that they would prefer to work with people, that they want to share?
Generally, I see my principle for like, I'm planning also for next year. Every time we put the community center, temple, mosques, we do the health camps, right? Not last year because of the COVID, but every month we set up a table wherever the community event or health camp. So we see all the people, those are interested for health insurance, life insurance, adult daycare facilities they need for the seniors. So that's how I generate my leads since 10 years in this like insurance business.
Absolutely.
And I'm planning to put the real estate table also with that. So I'm comfortable to talk to the people face to face and talk to them, and I got success in other business. So I feel that might be good. Same thing. So when I see the people, I contacted them, I got the leads like out of, then I don't have to call the people and all that. Because I know them, they know me, face-to-face conversation. Phone, you don't know who is the person, so it's better you talk to them personally and explain that. So that is works for me since last 10 years. So might be that's how I'm going to do it for real
Absolutely.
estate.
So now you know how to dial it up. How about you?
Open houses.
Open houses.
I like to do open houses because I get like that face-to-face interaction with people. And then when I get their contact information and I call them, I say, oh, hey, you were at such and such open house. Like, can I talk to you more about other houses in the area that you might be interested in if you don't like this one or stuff like that?
Absolutely. I want to give you some homework. Find out what a 7th level open house looks like.
7th level.
7th level. You can YouTube it. There.
7th level open house.
What else? How else would do people prefer to do business that you like, enjoy?
I like calling.
You like calling? It's my thing. That's my jam.
I do. I can call anyone. I mean, like anyone. But that was because of my previous job. I had a lot of training. I don't have anything on it. So.
That you do what works.
But the only thing that I want to get good at is to be able to sound really real estate intelligent when I do speak to them on the phone, and to be able to translate that information of booking the appointment, like you're really good at that. So I can utilize that
What activity do
opportunity.
you think is going to help you get better at that?
Setting.
Not
Or
necessarily.
doing more of it, I guess, appointments, I don't know.
I'm going to help you. Script practice.
Script practice, right?
Script practice.
And that's what Mike does, that's Kansas and Thursdays morning.
8:30. Keep your respect.
I want to do buyer and seller like seminars, like free seminars for buyers and sellers. To just give free knowledge first, and then I feel like I'll get myself based on that.
Absolutely. You do that at a high level, you might get all the business that you need for the entire year right there. You have enough people. That's certainly going to be prospecting and marketing enhanced, because now the name of the game is getting butts in seats, or in these times, both, maybe in seats or Zoom or however you propose to do it. And you don't have to recreate the wheel. There's somebody in this business that has already done it successfully. All you need to do is find out who that is and let them give you the cheat notes.
So as far as just sold and just listed, how do you work that?
So that's a marketing campaign where you sold a property and you may be
Oh,
like creating postcards that says, I just sold this property, I just listed this property. So that's also another feature that you have in command to create those marketing materials.
okay.
Okay. So we're gonna take a time out here. We're gonna move to the next activity. Now, 15 minutes. So, I mean, we've been talking a lot about this thing called regeneration. What do you think the next activity is going to be? Oh, you have a right answer. What time is it?
10:37.
10:37 plus 15. What does that mean? Who got a calculator? 10:52. All right. So we're going to spend the next 15 minutes calling, reaching out to people, whether you decide to do it Facebook, Instagram. I want you connecting with people. So you're calling, you're Instagramming, you're next dooring, you're Facebooking. I want you to create the opportunity for two-way conversation with people about the interest of buying a home or selling a home. If you're talking to people that are in your sphere of influence, people that know you, like you, a quick script is, hey Chris, it's me, just reaching out to you. I got some really good news. Just got my real estate license. I'm with Keller Williams now. Around some really great people, and we're helping tons of people buy homes and sell homes. And I just wanted to reach out to you first. Maybe we've had previous conversations. Are you still looking to buy a home? You thought about it? Are you still looking to sell that property? You told me about it. Very simple. We want to keep it sweet. All right. Go. So important thing when you're doing your lead generation, you want to make sure that you see how fast 15 minutes went by? Right? And it's easy to get caught up in let me do one more thing before I get into this, right? Let me clean off my desk. Let me do this real quick. Let me warm up my breakfast. Whatever that looks like. 15 minutes of your time will just go. So now instead of having 2 hours to lead generation, we're down to 145. And your mom called and she was going to make sure that she got in last night. She didn't check in with you last night. There's another 15 minutes. And your time will just keep depleting. So if anything, I want you to work really tough at honoring that timeline. Yeah. It is the lifeblood of your business. And being in this field, it's very easy for people to just think you have no job, right? You just have all the free time in the world. And, whether it be, can you do something? Can you give me a ride somewhere? Whatever that looks like, you want to make sure that you're honoring that time block because it is important for lead generation. So aside from what we took in the notes, I'm just going to share this with you that it's hard, especially when you transition into this business full time. It is hard to make the best decisions for your client when your bills are showing up every 30 days and you're looking for that deal to close, right? It's really hard to make the best decisions for them, right? Because you want to be in an abundance mindset where you may meet with your friends or family and it may not be the best choice for them to sell. It may not be the best choice for them to buy right to sell. That may very well be the case. That client may not be the fit for you, what you do and how you do it. Right? You want to be able to, let them go rather than let them down. I want that for you as you build your business. And lead generation is how you get there, because when you have an abundance of leads, you're in a very strong position to pick and choose who you do business with, how you do business with, and when things fall out, you're not destitute, right? That's not what the book says. That's the reality of what happens. And you see it, and it just creates a bad experience. And we call that, in our industry, we call that commission breath. Like once they start to feel like it's more important for you to close the deal and you're not looking out for their best interest, that's when you start to have issues in the transaction. And then not happen, right? Nobody wants to feel like they were just a transaction. I just wanted to say that because when you're talking about showing up for your family and friends, this is the first activity, and this is the one of the best things that you can do to build your business, to create an opportunity for your family and friends, and also create an opportunity for yourself. Make sense? All right. So I want you to jot this down because this is important as you go through your lead generation. We talked about consistency and things that you need to do daily as part of your lead generation. You want to be making, you want to be growing your business and adding to your database. So you want to make sure that 10 contacts are being added. You're having at least 10 conversations a day. You're writing 10 handwritten notes, and they could just be saying thank you notes, right? Thank you so much for supporting my business. Thank you so much for watching my daughter while I was away and trying to build, a life worth having. Thank you so much for the opportunities that you've given to me in the past. In the world of email, these things go a long way. People keep those. I keep those. I got a little box. 10 home previews per week. So if you didn't know what you should be doing, this is it. This is a guideline to get you started so you can ignite your business. Now, I know we're coming to a close, and I just want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to share any ahas that they've had throughout this course and ask any questions. Let's start with ahas. And aha, as Alana would have said, is agents helping agents. And what the epiphanies that we have, we share, it may help someone else in the room. Any ahas that you had?
I kind of understand a little more the difference between growing a business and running a business. Like we saw yesterday, we can actually talk about that there's actually two different kinds, the two different areas that you're focusing on, and then growing your business, what they can actually consist of, and then running a business and what they actually consist of. So like that became really clear today.
Absolutely. I'll give you some homework. There's a book called The One Thing. The One Thing. There's a chapter in there called the 80-20 rule. The One Thing. There's a principle in there called the 80-20 principle. Read it. Change your life. Any other ahas?
Just learning the difference between a lead and a contact.
Absolutely. What was the biggest thing that you learned?
So a contact is like a vetted lead. You know what that lead is about, so then you can proceed with some type of business interaction or relationship. Because everybody's a lead.
Everyone.
Everybody's a lead.
You're a lead. You're a lead. You're a lead. You're a lead. You're a lead.
That's a good way of saying it. It's a vetted contact, yeah.
Any other ahas? These are great.
Just knowing that it's, if calling people is a favorite thing or other ways to generate leads. I'm not going to agents, like I'm not necessarily using generation, but being able to talk to their agents that might feel comfortable with that. Like the one that resonated with me is like if I was doing this, like the teaching and speaking opportunities, because that's something that fits my wheelhouse, because that's what I did in my last job, and that's what I'll be continuing in doing. So knowing that like you can be up there and have that like educational piece where you're like, I'm here to give you free information and to help, and then to potentially get things from that. Like if I were doing this, that's how I would do it, because that would speak to what I feel comfortable with.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, you can find some, like what pisses me off about my partner is that like I'm a cold caller. I like being on the phone. And sometimes I just feel like you're not even working, right? Because he finds ways to, he likes video games. He conversely is from being on the thing with his headset. And I'm like, dude, it's another day. I'm busting my hump and you're on a video game. He's like, well, I set 2 appointments, what you do? And I'm like, how? He's like, I'm on a game with like dozens of people. And we're talking smack, and in the midst of that, I'm talking about what I do, and I got appointments. So
Wow.
shut your mouth.
Wow.
So guess what I do? I shut my mouth. So that's how you can, if you're a coupon flipper, you can create groups. Like anywhere there's people, find the things that you love to do and create an event around it. And those are people that you're going to build relationships with, because people do business with people that they know, like, and they trust. So when they know you, they like you, they trust you, they will do business with you. And you just need to be consistent with it. You're gonna do it all the way, and watch it and monitor it. And at some point, somebody's gonna say, hey, you in real estate, right? Yeah, I need to talk to you after we clip these coupons, because I got a question. Any other questions that you might have? Thank you for the ahas. Questions? Anything else that you'd like to share before we close? Well, thank you so much for attending. I hope you got a lot of value out of today's class. I wish the best for you, and I hope that you are on your way to igniting that business at that point.
So really quick, if you all are interested, we're gonna play that video about how to do referrals within KW. And also, if you're coming tomorrow is powerful language and delivering your value proposition. It starts at 8:30, not 9. The reason is because it's all family meeting right afterwards, so if you want to do that right after, you're welcome to. And we'd love for you to be there, but it's 8:30 tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yes. Cool. All right, so I guess I can show that. Are you done or is there
Yeah,
anything else you'd like
everything's
to
done.
share? Okay, well,
I'm done.
let's give a hand to Mike really fast.